Hello, hello, this is Priscilla, and welcome to the Conversational Hour. The topic for today is chocolate the new brain food? I'm happy to prepare a lesson for you. I hope that you will find it engaging, entertaining, and very informative. The objective today is that each student will have an opportunity to practice using techniques to improve and apply comprehension strategies as you engage in contributing to your own learning from this short, simple passage. All right, I will start to read. Is chocolate the new brain food? Dr. Laura Devian reports. We've all heard about the healing powers of red wine, in moderation, of course, but a new study suggests hot chocolate may be the elixir of choice for older people who want to keep their minds sharp. The study of 60 older adults linked 30 days of twice daily hot cocoa consumption to a 30% bump in memory and thinking abilities among those who had impaired blood flow to their brains. Study author Dr. Farzaneh Sarand, a neurologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital and assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School, said chocolate seemed to boost the brain's blood supply, citing an 8.3% increase in blood flow after a month's worth of hot cocoa. The areas of your brain that are working need more fuel, she said, describing a phenomenon known as neurovascular coupling, which refers to the intimate link between better blood flow and improved neuronal activity. In people with impaired blood flow, she added, cocoa may be beneficial by delivering some fuel. Chocolate may boost brain power. While more research is needed to tease out the exact mechanism by which chocolate boosts blood flow, Saran said that antioxidants and caffeine may certainly play a role. But there's also the possibility that chocolate just makes us feel good. It stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain, said Dr. Peter McCullough, a consultant cardiologist at Providence Hospitals and Medical Centers in Southfield and Novi, Michigan, who was not involved in the study. For those tempted to self-medicate with a tasty box of truffles, Saran and colleagues caution that the dietary tweak isn't for everyone. The people who need this the most, she said, meaning people with diabetes, high blood pressure, and tendencies toward vascular dementia, can't really afford to take in more sugar, fat, and calories. McCulloch agreed. People extrapolate to think more is better, he said, stressing that chocolate contains many substances, including sugar and fat, which may negate any potential health benefits. Hello, Carmen. How are you?
Good morning, Priscilla. How are you? I'm just fine, thank you.
Great, great. Well, it's nice to have you join me this morning, Carmen. What I was doing was just reading over the story for today.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you're here, I'll have you do the same. Would you read the story for us?
Okay. Is chocolate the new brain food? Dr. Lara Devgan reports, we have all heard about the healing powers of red wine, in moderation, of course, but a new study suggests hot chocolate may be the elixir of choice. How do you pronounce elixir?
Elixir? Elixir.
Elixir. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For older people who want to keep their minds sharp. The study of 60 older adults linked 30 days of twice daily hot cocoa consumption. Sorry, how do you pronounce consumption?
Consumption.
Consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 30% bump in memory and thinking abilities among those who had impaired blood flow to their brains. Study author Dr. Farthaneh Sedant, a neurologist in Brigham and Women's Hospital and assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School, said chocolate seemed to boost the brain's blood supply, citing an 8.3% increase in blood flow after a month's worth of hot cocoa. The areas of your brain that are working need more fuel, she said, describing a phenomenon known as neurovascular coupling. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this. Coupling?
Coupling. Mm-hmm. Coupling. Mm-hmm.
Which refers, what is it? I can.
Let's see. Now I've lost my place.
Which refers to the intimate link between better blood flow and improved neuronal activity. In people with impaired blood flow, she added, cocoa may be beneficial by delivering more fuel. Chocolate may boost brain power. While more research is needed to tease out the exact mechanism by which chocolate boosts blood flow, Soren said the antioxidants and caffeine may certainly play a role. But there's also a possibility that chocolate just makes us feel good. It stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain, said Dr. Peter McCullough, a consultant cardiologist at Providence Hospital and Medical Centers in Southfield and Novi, Michigan, who was not involved in the study. For those tempted to self-medicate with a tasty box of truffles, Soren and colleagues cautioned that the dietary tweak isn't for everyone. The people who need this the most, she said, meaning people with diabetes, high blood pressure and tendencies towards vascular dementia can't really afford to take in more sugar, fat, and calories. Magula agreed. People extrapolate to think more is better, he said, stressing that chocolate contains many substances, including sugar and fat, which may negate any potential health benefits.
Okay, very nicely read. Now, what we're going to do, did you understand about 80% of what you read?
80% yes. A little
Okay,
bit, yes.
great.
Was not bad.
Okay, Rafa, could you read the exact same thing? Would you start at the top and read, is chocolate the new brain food?
Okay. Could you hear me?
Yes, I can, thank you.
Is chocolate the new brain food? Dr. Lara DeBanks reports, we've all heard about the healing powers of red wine, in moderation, of course. But a new study suggests hot chocolate may be the elixir of choice for older people who want to keep their minds sharp. The study of 60 older adults linked 30 days of twice daily hot cocoa consumption to a 30% bump in the memory and thinking abilities among those who had direct blood flow to the brains. Study author Dr. Farancet Sorond, a neurologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital and assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School, said chocolate seemed to boost the brain's blood supply, citing an 8.3% increase in blood flow after a month's worth of hot cocoa. The areas of your brains that are working need more fuel, she said, describing a phenomenon known as neurovascular coupling, which refers to the intimate link between better blood flow and improved neuronal activity. In people with impaired blood flow, she added, cocoa may be beneficial by delivering more fuel. Chocolate may boost brain power, while more research is needed to tease out the exact mechanisms by which chocolate boosts blood flow. Sharon said that antioxidants and caffeine may certainly play a role, but there's also the possibility that chocolate just makes us feel good. It stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain, said Dr. Peter McCulloch, a consultant cardiologist at Providence Hospital and Medical Center in Southfield and Novi, Michigan, who was not involved in the study. For those tempted to self-medicate with a tasty box, a tasty box of truffles, Sharon and colleagues cautioned that the dietary tweak isn't for everyone. The people who need these the most, she said, meaning the people with diabetes, high blood pressure and tendencies toward vascular dementia, can't really afford to take in more sugar, fat and calories. McCullough agreed. People extrapolate to think more is better, he said, stressing that chocolate contains many substances, including sugar and fat, which may negate any potential health benefits. I can hear you. Elixir.
Yes, that word is elixir. Now what I'm going to do is read the entire thing. I want you both to pay close attention to the way that my voice fluctuates. When I get to a period, I will come to a complete stop. I will pause at commas. Are you able to hear me?
Yep.
Okay, and when there's a question, my voice will definitely change its tone. And I will begin. Is chocolate the new brain food? Dr. Laura Devigan reports, we've all heard about the healing powers of red wine, in moderation, of course. But a new study suggests hot chocolate may be the elixir of choice for older people who want to keep their minds sharp. The study of 60 older adults linked 30 days of twice-daily hot cocoa consumption to a 30% bump in memory and thinking abilities among those who had impaired blood flow to their brains. Study author Dr. Farzaneh Saron, a neurologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital and assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School, said chocolate seemed to boost the brain's blood supply, citing an 8.3% increase in blood flow after a month's worth of hot cocoa. The areas of your brain that are working need more fuel, she said, describing a phenomenon known as neurovascular coupling, which refers to the intimate link between better blood flow and improved neuronal activity. In people with impaired blood flow, she added, cocoa may be beneficial by delivering more fuel. Chocolate may boost brain power. While more research is needed to tease out the exact mechanism by which chocolate boosts blood flow, Saron said that antioxidants and caffeine may certainly play a role. But there's also the possibility that chocolate just makes us feel good. It stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain, said Dr. Peter McCullough, a consultant cardiologist at Providence Hospitals and Medical Centers in Southfield and Novi, Michigan, who was not involved in the study. For those tempted to self-medicate with a tasty box of truffles, surrounding colleagues cautioned that the dietary tweak isn't for everyone. The people who need this the most, she said, meaning people with diabetes, high blood pressure, and tendencies toward vascular dementia, can't really afford to take in more sugar, fat, and calories. McCullough agreed. People extrapolate to think more is better, he said, stressing that chocolate contains many substances, including sugar and fat, which may negate any potential health benefits. All right, so now I finished reading that for you, and it is quite possible that you only understand 80%. Hopefully, after this dialogue, you will understand 95 to 100%. So what I want the two of you to do, unmute your microphone, Rafa, and you will just read yellow and red, yellow and green. Whoever starts with yellow will continue with yellow, and who starts with green will continue with the green. I want you to read this conversation as a dialogue about this article, and it explains everything that is in the article as if the two of you are having a conversation. What the purpose of this activity is it will allow you to understand how important the subtleties of, aha, I understand, why that is important when you're engaging in conversation. It keeps you connected to each other until you finish the dialogue. If there is something in here that you don't understand, please stop and ask. Say, Priscilla, I don't understand what I just read. But each little segment is broken up into a dialogue. You don't have to stop. Well, I will stop the dialogue, and I will be the narrator. I'll narrate between the conversation. All right, any questions before you begin?
No.
Okay. if we can get Carmen, if you will be student A, and Rafa, you will be student B. There will be places when you can refer to each other by name, since you're just the two of us.
Okay.
All right, so I'll be the narrator. Chocolate, the elixir or choice. Dr. Laura Devgan reports, we've all heard about the healing powers of red wine, in moderation, of course, but a new study suggests hot chocolate may be the elixir of choice for older people who want to keep their minds sharp.
I have heard something about healing powers. Is it true that red wine has such powers?
Well, let's think about this for a moment. Red wine is good, but it must be taken in moderation.
What exactly is moderation?
Moderation is to do something in a small way.
I think I understand. I recently heard that hot chocolate may be the elixir of choice.
You are absolutely correct. But do you know what the word elixir actually means?
I'm glad you asked. I didn't know. I did not want to appear dumb. So what is an elixir?
An elixir is a substance, usually a liquid with a magical power to cure, improve, act as a preservative.
Okay, let's go back. Let's do that one again. Start with, I'm glad you asked.
I'm glad you asked. I did not want to appear dumb. So what is an elixir?
An elixir is a substance, usually a liquid, with a magical power to cure, improve, or act as a preservative.
I'm not sure if I understand. Can you give me an example of an elixir?
Well, you are definitely asking great question. An example of an elixir is a chocolate. You can also think of a combination of medicine used to treat symptoms such as a cold or an allergy, hay fever, headache, or even a breathing illness.
So who should take or eat the chocolate? And why should they eat, drink, or take the chocolate?
Well, the most recent study suggests that all people should use chocolate to keep their minds sharp.
Keep their mind sharp. Interesting. What exactly is a sharp mind? This sounds like an idiom.
Well, it is an idiom actually. The meaning of keeping one's mind sharp is to say that person is alert and well informed. This person can participate in a meaningful way in situations.
Okay, great job, guys. Now, is there anything in this article, because this little portion here is what you just discussed, is there something here that you don't fully understand? Rafa?
No, I get it.
Carmen?
I think I get it all.
Okay, great. Now I'm the narrator. The study of 60 older adults linked 30 days of twice daily hot cocoa consumption to a 30% bump in memory and thinking abilities among those who had impaired blood flow to their brains. Okay, so start again for me. Yellow.
I understand that a recent study showed that the older adult consumption of hot cocoa twice daily bumped a 30% increase in memory.
Really? A 30% bump? Wow, that sounds like an increase of one each day over the period.
1% each day over a 30-day period.
1% each day over the period of 30 days, right?
The study linked the success to the ability of the older people being able to think better. So, you see, when something is linked, it only means that it's connected to something. As in the study, the older people were linked to a sharper mind of those who drank hot cocoa.
No, that is interesting. Maybe my uncle's ability will improve. If his ability improves, he can do more. Can you tell me something about impaired blood flow?
Your uncle's ability to do more can improve if nothing stops the blood from flowing in the brain. Stops the blood from flowing to the brain. You see, Rafa, the blood moves or flows in your veins. When something stops the flow, that is what is known as an impairment. Once the impairment of what is also known as a damage of blocked area, the blood will flow easily.
I am understanding what you are saying. An impairment stops something from happening, as in the case of blood flowing into the brain. So, once the impairment was removed, the 30% bump showed up in the study.
Okay. In that section, did you all understand what is going on through the dialogue?
When you talk about impairment, means like something is blocking the way?
That is correct. So read it here. Read here again, student C. Who read this? Rafa? No.
It was me, I think.
Carmen, read this again. Read this again.
Okay. Your uncle's ability to do more can improve if nothing stops the blood from flowing to the brain. I get it now. That's it. Thank you.
All right. All right. So I will read as a narrator. Study author Dr. Farzaneh Saran, a neurologist at Brigham and Women's Hospital and assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School, said chocolate seemed to boost the brain's blood supply, citing an 8% increase in blood flow after a month's worth of hot cocoa. And this is
okay, Rafa.
Yeah.
Rafa, the author of I think it's my turn, no?
Yes, it is. Rafa?
Okay. Rafa, the author of neurologist study is Dr. Farzaneh Saran.
What type of study does a neurologist do?
Okay, before you go on, you see I've put in, you'll say, Rafa, and you pause a minute. Rafa, the author of neurologist study is Dr. Farzaneh Saran. Then, Rafa, you say, what type of study does a neurologist do? That's a question mark, so your voice should come up like, what? What type of study does a neurologist do? Okay, try it again.
From the start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Rafa, the author of neurologist study is Dr. Farzaneh Saran.
What type of study does a neurologist do?
For starters, a neurologist studies the nervous system. Dr. Farzaneh Saran studied at Brigham and Women's Hospital and is the assistant professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School.
It seems that Dr. Saran has a lot of responsibility.
Yes, I would agree with you. The study of neurology is very intense, paying close attention to the neurons and the circuit system of the body.
So, what does neurology have to do with chocolate?
Another great question. According to Dr. Saran, the neurologist's chocolate seemed to boost the brain's blood supply. In fact, Dr. Saran cited an 8.3% increase in blood flow after a month of consuming hot cocoa.
Really? Are you serious? My uncle and my aunt might benefit from this study. You know, they both are in the late 70s. After only 1 month, there is an increase or an improvement in the blood flow.
As the narrator, the areas of your brain that are working need more fuel, she said, describing a phenomenon known as neurovascular coupling, which refers to the intimate link between better blood flow and improved neuronal activity.
It might be worth a try to get your aunt and your uncle to drink more hot cocoa. Dr. Surrand stated that the areas of your brain that are working need more fuel.
Dr. Surround sounds like she knows something about a car, especially when she says the brain needs fuel. This is an interesting phenomenon. What I mean by this is that a phenomenon is something different and new.
Yes, you could call it this a phenomenon. Dr. Surrand is describing a new situation known as neurovascular coupling.
What? Neuro? I don't understand. Can you pronounce this word for me?
Calm down. The phenomenon is neurovascular coupling. This only means coupling, like linking the neurons, no?
Oh, it's whatever you want to put in there, though. I just thought I'd give you some ideas.
The study of neurology is very intense, paying close attention to the neurons and the circuit systems of the body. System of the body.
Well, it would just take some of these words, not all of them.
So, neurovascular coupling is when you link the neurons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. The neurovascular coupling, the better the flow of blood and improve neuronal activity. I can just see my aunt and uncle now, tossing away their canes and starting to fall in love and all over again. Imagine that.
Okay, here's a narrator. In people with impaired blood flow, she added, cocoa may be beneficial by delivering more fuel. Chocolate may boost brain power. While more research is needed to tease out the exact mechanism by which chocolate boosts blood flow, Saran said that antioxidants and caffeine may certainly play a role.
Don't laugh yet, my friend. Studies have shown that people with impaired blood flow has an increase in activity. Any activity, including those between your aunt and your uncle. Cocoa may be beneficial by delivering more fuel. So you see, the better the fuel, the better the
mileage.
But I don't know what it means.
The further you can go, the more energy you have, the more things you can do. Just like a car, if you put gas in a car, you can go a lot further. So if you drink cocoa, the aunt and uncle don't have to go to bed so early because they have lots of energy.
And mileage has anything to do with miles, like driving the car miles away?
Well, in terms of using fuel, you know, when you put gasoline in the car, you can go more miles. So,
that's it.
So it's doing a comparison. If you drink more hot cocoa, you can go more miles, which means you can stay up later, you can have more fun, you can go and do more exciting things.
Instead of going back to bed. Okay then.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Did you get my point?
Whoa.
Okay, start over. Start with, don't laugh yet, my friend.
Okay. Don't laugh yet, my friend. Studies have shown that people with impaired blood flow has an increase in activity. Any activity, including those between your aunt and your uncle. Cocoa may be beneficial and by delivering more fuel. So you see, the better the fuel, the better the millet. Do you get my point?
Mileage, the better the mileage.
Mileage, sorry. Do you get my point?
Well, that is putting it mildly. I get your point. So, you are saying chocolate may boost brain power. This is most interesting. Do you believe more research is needed?
Of course more research is needed, just like anything else. Research is needed to tease out the exact mechanism to understand how the chocolate affects the blood flow.
You mentioned the word tease. What does tease out? The exact mechanism mean exactly?
All right, think about it like this. When people are dating, like your aunt and uncle, they would playfully tease each other, right? Well, this is what is done with the chocolate. Different things will be tried to find out exactly what attracts chocolate to cause people to become more energetic.
Oh, say no more. I don't want to think of my aunt and uncle under these circumstances.
Okay, so one final thing you might find interesting. Dr. Surand said that antioxidants and caffeine might certainly play a role in the increase of getting blood to the brain.
You got that right. My aunt and uncle will always drink their coffee that is full of caffeine. I don't know about anti. What was that again?
Antioxidants. These are, I don't know, prevents from getting oxid. I don't know. Stimulants that increase activity. Okay. Antioxidants. These are stimulants that increase activity ability.
I understand now.
Okay, let's start here again. Okay, so one final thing.
Okay, so one final thing you might find interesting.
Oh, wait just a moment. And Rafa, when you get to anti, you say anti. What's that again?
Anti.
You want to pause. Anti. Okay, so one final thing.
Okay, so one final thing you might find interesting. Dr. Surand said that antioxidants and caffeine might certainly play a role in the increase of getting blood to the brain.
You got that right. My aunt and uncle will always drink their coffee that is full of caffeine. I don't know about anti. What was that again?
Antioxidants. These are stimulants that increase activity ability.
I understand now.
Okay, so here's the narrator. But there's also the possibility that chocolate just makes us feel good. It stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain, said Dr. Peter McCullough, a consultant cardiologist at Providence Hospitals and Medical Centers in Southfield and Novi, Michigan, who was not involved in the study.
Did you know that there is a possibility that chocolate just makes a person feel good?
Oh, really? Could you tell me a little more?
Of course. Chocolate stimulates the pleasure centers of the brain. A stimulant tends to add excitement or agitation to an environment. In this case, the brain activity is stimulated and an individual becomes more animated.
That explains why I appear to be more alert when I drink caffeine, right?
That is absolutely correct. Dr. Peter McCullough is a consultant cardiologist at Providence Hospitals, and he was involved in this study.
Did you mean that Dr. McCullough discovered chocolate?
No, Dr. McCullough did not discover chocolate, that he was involved in the study of the effects of chocolate as an stimulant to the pleasure centers of the brain. The word involved only means that he participated in the study.
Okay, I get it. Involved is just like you being engaged in this conversation with me to help me understand some of the benefits of chocolate.
You're 100% correct.
Okay, the narrator. For those tempted to self-medicate with a tasty box of truffles, Saran and colleagues caution that the dietary tweak isn't for everyone. The people who need this the most, she said, meaning people with diabetes, high blood pressure, and tendencies toward vascular dementia, can't really afford to take in more sugar, fat, and calories. Vascular dementia just means that your veins and your blood is getting too old and too weak to flow easily. Okay? Yellow?
In a few minutes, I must leave and take care of my patients. Do you have any other questions that I might be able to answer for you?
Well, maybe yes, a few, if you could. First, I want to thank you for your time. I was thinking about eating a box of chocolate truffles a little later today. This seems to be a good way to self-medicate myself. What do you think of this idea?
Well, on the surface, it may appear to be a good idea. However, according to Dr. Surant and his colleagues, this dietary tweak is not for everyone.
So, who is it for then? I hope I'm included. You know from my records, I am a diabetic.
Unfortunately, the people who need the chocolate the most are the ones that can really afford to take in more sugar, fat, and calories. This would include you because of your diabetic condition, people with high blood pressure, and those with vascular dementia or a poor blood circulation system.
Why is it that anything that sounds good, tastes good, or looks good is off limits to me?
Off limits.
Is off limits to me.
Sorry, Priscilla, how do you pronounce dementia or dementia?
Dementia.
Dementia.
Like dementia.
Okay, dementia, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It is not that you can have any of these things. It just means that your chance of being in the best health suggests that you resist this, or at least stay with a very limited distance of chocolate.
Oh, okay.
The narrator reads, McCullough agreed. People extrapolate to think more is better. He said, stressing that chocolate contains many substances, including sugar and fat, which may negate any potential health benefit. Now, this word extrapolate means that if I tell you something, as in the case of chocolate, Rafah thinks, oh, he loves chocolate, and he wants to have his system to move faster. He wants the blood to run through his veins faster. The problem is he can't use it because he's a diabetic, so he can't eat the chocolate. So extrapolating means to hear your doctor or anyone tell you something, and then you make a big assumption that, oh, well, if I eat more chocolate, I'll have more energy. But that's not what he's saying. So extrapolate means to take it beyond what the original intent is. Okay, student?
Yes, thank you. I really must go now, but I appreciate all of your questions. If you need to come back for another consultation, please call the office and make another appointment.
Thank you. I will. Also, I promise not to forget how much you have stressed that chocolate contains many substances, such as sugar and fat, which may very well negate any potential health benefit.
That's right. Remember, if you extrapolate or make any assumptions about what I have said today, You are a diabetic, and most of what I have said is not good for your health. So please do not negate your scheduled routine of health maintenance in search for potential health benefits that are not available for people with vascular dementia.
Thank you for your time and, of course, the valuable advice.
Okay. All right, I'm going to come back to the class now. Let's see, where am I? Okay, I'm back in the class. What you just participated in is an authentic dialogue for the most part. If you were a doctor and a patient sitting in the doctor's office consulting and asking questions about chocolate and how this might benefit you and your vascular system. How did you perceive this lesson, Carmen? Was this dialogue helpful in getting clear information to you about what the article and the intent was?
I thought it was very interesting the way you put it, meaning that first we've got the short text and then we go through it with different dialogues between the two. So all the things that remained at first time, it was not very clear for me because there were some passages that were not clear for me. Once you get through it with the dialogues, it's a lot more clear.
Fantastic.
So that's it. I like the way you just put it through.
Okay, good. Thank you. And Rafa, what did you think? How did you perceive the lesson, the way that it was designed, and you carried it out today?
I noticed how my pronunciation goes better when I was talking, and also Carmen was going better, the pronunciation and also the understanding of the article. I think it's pretty interesting.
Okay, very good. So my goal was to teach each of you how to engage in meaningful dialogues when you're speaking conversational English. I know lots of times we will present to you a dialogue, and we will still do this because it takes some time to put a dialogue like that together. But authentic dialogue goes with, tell me more, ha ha ha, This keeps both people engaged, the person that you're talking to and the person that is listening, because you're saying something occasionally that lets the person know that you're still in sync with what they're saying, or you're asking a question. So when you get those scripted dialogues, I'm sure your teachers in other classes will not mind if you go away a little bit from the dialogue and say, I see, And even though you may have a still picture, go ahead and move your head. When I talk on the phone, I put a smile in my voice. Hello? Even though the person can't see me, but when I do these things, it becomes more easily transcending over the phone that I'm excited, I want to know more, and I'll say, oh, okay. So you want to add those little tidbits into your conversation. Now, I want to say that when you're reading, when you're in dialogue, it shouldn't sound like you're reading. I know this was the first time that you did this one, but when you do this one again, if you're here when I do this one again, I hope it will seem even more natural. And I try to capture every vocabulary word in the conversation so that, as doctors will do, doctors will use words that we don't understand. The one thing I do want to point out, although this was almost a medical or a doctor's office visit, those words that we use, many of those words could fit in any conversation. It did not have to be such that it was a medical office, that if you didn't understand something like activity, percent, bump, intimate, linked, potential, negate, including, afford, all of those words are just general words that you come across every day. The words that were related to medical terms would be healing, neurologist, neurovascular, dementia. So it wasn't that many words, but the context the context of what we were saying, of what we were reading, the words that I did use fit very nicely. But you can take these words and transcend these words into another story, which is what we're going to do right now. All right, I'm going to pull up our vocabulary words and we are going to create our story. And let's see. Where's your story? Okay, great. Here are your vocabulary words, and I will do it first, just so you get an idea of what I want you to do. Can you see the words?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to talk for 1 minute. Well, maybe I won't talk for 1 minute, but each of you will. I'll try to. Okay, here's my story. I'm going to tell you about a story that consists of using chocolate. Chocolate is an elixir for those who have problems with blood flow. Apparently, the stimulant that is in the chocolate helps the blood to flow through the veins. One thing to be cautioned about, if you have diabetes, this is not a good thing for you to use. This is not what you want to do to tweak your immune system. There was a study where 30% of the people did something, and a neurologist was in that study, and she talked about how older people could keep their minds sharp. This ability is something that is quite simple to do. Even your aunt or uncle who are old can do it if they're not diabetic. The vascular system is what allows your blood to flow through the body, and it affords you to do things that you would not necessarily be able to do if your blood flow is blocked. So chocolate has become the fuel, according to research, that helps people to do things in moderation. All right, so I didn't use all of the words, but I used some of them. So now let's see. Rafa, would you like to go first? Let's see how well you can do with the use of these words.
Okay.
And I'm going to take that out. Put yours here, Rafa. Okay. Okay, whenever you're ready. 1, 2, 3.
Right now we are talking about the healing powers of chocolate. Chocolate is an elixir that could keep their minds sharp, improve your abilities, and improve your flow of blood, and increase the percent activity of your mind. Neurovascular coupling is improved with a lot of beneficial delivering flow that some research shows that the possibility to take chocolate improve the pressure of the blood flow and improve your vascular tendencies, because chocolate contains substances that stimulates your activity and increase the boost of your energy.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's very good. And of course, it took me I had to find the words, so you probably used more of the words than I could find. Okay. Carmen, whenever you're ready, you may start.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
The other day I was reading a study about how chocolate can become the elixir that stimulates our dietary
Don't wait for me.
On daily basis. But lately I have read too a research about a study that that proves how a study made by a neurologist that show us how too many words. Chocolate can be like a fuel to our minds that has a lot of benefits, and besides being the lecture that help that
Okay, there you are. And one of the things that you could do is just take the words in a row. Just go through a row. Go through a row. Go
Yeah,
through
but
a row.
you got to make up the story. I'm very bad at those.
Okay, but you did it. But you both did a wonderful job, and you probably said more words than I was able to find because I had to find the words. But that was an activity that helps to reinforce what you have read and and tells me as I assess, did you understand what you read? And apparently you did. All right, well, this brings us to the top of the hour, Carmen and Rafa. This is when I will ask you to give me your final word about today's class. What did you think about today's class? Did it benefit you? Did you like it? What would you like to change, or what would you like to see differently? You may begin, Carmen.
Okay, this was my second class with you, and I came back again because I find it very, very interesting, the way you put it through. So I wouldn't change anything because that way I can go through the text and I can talk about the text. I can learn a new vocabulary about concerning that text. And of course, I can correct my pronunciation. So on the whole, I would say I find it very rewarding, very interesting. I always learn a lot when I come to your classes.
Okay, thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate your efforts and continue to come and follow me, if you will. Rafa, could I get final words from you, please?
Very dynamic and very interesting as always. I would like to have more conversation, free conversation on the topic, but I think it depends of the level of the student. But I miss to talk more free about the topic because I think it could be interesting for all the classes.
Okay, so I want to understand what you're saying. Would you have preferred not to have the script to discuss? Okay.
Sometimes I think it's very necessary to have the script, but other times, depending on the level of the student, could be more free, I think.
Okay.
Could be more interesting.
Okay.
But I would say that can be another class, meaning that you can have another class, different class, with a text, with a transcript, and they talk about a topic. But I think that was not the thing that was intended in here. So perhaps you can have another class about that. But what you did in here was going through the text and talk about the text in that context, not like a free topic or to share opinions about a topic, but to go through the text and learn about it and understand it.
Right, that is correct. Again, what I wanted to do, yes, we can have a free topic. Let's say if I had not given you the script, we just wanted to talk about chocolate. We just want to talk about chocolate. But what I find is that when I give students an opportunity to do the free talk without a topic, one person typically just asks questions, and there's not an even exchange, and I don't necessarily feel the empathy, the give and take that I'm really listening to you, other than I'm waiting for my opportunity to speak. Then there are occasions when I can give the students a topic to talk about, and they don't have enough words within their they have the words, but they don't know how to use the words. So they still do not develop the conversation that I'm looking for based upon the content of the script. Or if I have a script, which I haven't done, if I have a script, I think it's going to be in an hour's time. I can try it. It might be too much of a challenge for the students, two students, to go through an entire topic to find out what should they be asking, what should they be saying, when they may not necessarily fully understand the vocabulary or the contents of the script. If it were a one-on-one class where a student would have done some background work, homework before they came to class, they would have prepared. But in most cases, when students come to class, they have not prepared, they have not read the material, and it takes about 5 minutes to even read the material, another 5 minutes to understand the material, and then to get into it. The hour would be up very soon, especially if you have more than 2 people participating. But thank you very much for your feedback. I'm just trying different things to find what works for which people, and some people can get through it because advanced students will come, such as the two of you, or intermediate students, and then the beginners would be the ones that would struggle, but yet they would still want to benefit from being in the class for the hour. But I want to say thank you very much, both of you, for your valuable feedback and attending the class. I hope to see you a little bit later on today in my future classes. If you're following me, you know that I have 2 classes coming up a little later on today. Have a nice day.
Priscilla. Have a nice day too. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.